Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. First of all, countdown, 69 days to go, 69 days remaining. Field Marshal Asim Munir is seeking a second retirement and a second extension. If he retires, a new army chief will come into the country. If he doesn't retire, it means he doesn't trust the current senior generals to lead the Pakistan army as effectively as he can. So if he trusts their talent, he will retire peacefully and let Pakistan military's leadership take over. But if he thinks there is a lack of talent and no one among them is capable of leading, then he might take an extension himself and continue. We had also said that most news in the remaining days will revolve around this extension issue. Today's first news is in front of you from Geneva, Switzerland. Yes, the same Geneva where Bahia Mariam's respected Pakistani lady had surgery at the square. Now news is coming that Nawaz Sharif has gone and is lying on the 9th floor of a hospital. We will explain the full details. At first we thought it was just a rumour, but then we spoke to those who came and saw him. They made a video which is now on social media. We will share and show it to you. The person is Shakil, living in Switzerland, a good acquaintance of ours. We saw his video on social media and were surprised by the security around Nawaz Sharif, which is also a serious matter. Our sources tell us how Nawaz Sharif arrived there. Shakil found out on Saturday that a patient named Mian Mohammed Nawaz Sharif was admitted to a hospital in Switzerland. On Sunday, he went there with a bouquet of flowers to pay his respects because caring for patients is virtuous. When he contacted the reception, he was told that Nawaz Sharif was admitted. Shakil reached the room where a hospital staff member came out. He asked if Mian Nawaz Sharif was there. The staff confirmed and the door was open, so Shakil went in. Inside, Nawaz Sharif was lying on the bed resting. The hospital also conducts surgeries related to weight loss, but we don't know the exact reason Nawaz Sharif is there or what specific treatment he is getting, as health data is private. Generally, this hospital offers many treatments, including weight loss surgeries. Shakil described that Nawaz Sharif was lying on the bed about 10 feet away, eyes closed, possibly resting or sleeping. There were two others present who were surprised to see them. Shakil then recorded a video, sharing the entire incident. Shakil says, "Peace be upon you, our source in Geneva, Switzerland, informed us that a patient named Mohammed Nawaz Sharif is admitted on the 9th floor of the hospital HEVJ. We went there, and upon entering the corridor near room number 663, a hospital staff member came out, saw us, and asked if we were Pakistani. We said yes. We approached the room. The door was open. Inside, Nawaz Sharif was resting on the bed, either asleep or unconscious. Two other people were there who were shocked to see us. The hospital told us Nawaz Sharif was sleeping and asked us to leave. They accepted the flowers we brought and said to come back when Nawaz Sharif wakes up. So our sources also say that Nawaz Sharif left Geneva urgently before ever reaching London. The reason behind this, well, is that a discussion about a so-called stint, meaning either an extension or some sort of agreement, was supposed to take place there. Nawaz Sharif was apparently being pressured to make certain promises, but as of now he hasn't finalised anything yet. As of today, which is, around September 21st or 22nd, there's been no notification about Field Marshal Asim Munir's retirement or any sort of extension. A notification is absolutely necessary for this process, whether it's for 2 years or even 5 years. We did mention earlier that about 69 days remain. This notification is required, and it will definitely come sooner or later. Our sources further say that Nawaz Sharif was indeed in Geneva, but no one expected he'd end up admitted to a hospital there, lying on a bed. It's a completely different story now. The video uploaded by Shakil on social media confirmed Nawaz Sharif's presence in the hospital. Shakil himself went to the hospital and recorded videos of the corridors and the area near the room, but he was not allowed to film inside the room itself. Those present at the hospital, well, they were quite shocked to see the visitors. The hospital staff told Shakil to leave as Nawaz Sharif was sleeping and to come back later. Now, the second bit of news is about, yet another defeat. India has beaten Pakistan. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised why people are making memes about this, especially since we have brotherly relations with Saudi Arabia. It's frankly a terrible conspiracy. People started tweeting that Saudi Arabia lost to India, but the match was actually between Pakistan and India, so why bring Saudi Arabia into it? I just don't understand. However, I realized this was in the context of a recent strategic mutual defense agreement, which says that if one country is attacked, it's considered an attack on the other as well. Memes were made questioning if Pakistan's debt would become Saudi Arabia's debt too. I know making jokes about serious issues is pretty common here, but blaming Saudi Arabia for the cricket loss is really not appropriate. Pakistan scored somewhere around 175 to 185 runs, but India reached that target with only 4 wickets down. A very comfortable win, to be honest. Our team looked flat, much like Field Marshal Asim Munir's SIFC, the Strategic Inter-Services Framework Command, which has also failed. Chairman PCB, Najam Sethi, directly blamed Field Marshal Asim Munir and his regime for the team selections, claiming that players were chosen based on recommendations rather than merit. The actual match-winning players were missing, and there were rapid changes made to the team. Najam Sethi accused the Field Marshal's regime of deeply controlling PCB affairs and blamed them for the defeat. So this defeat is really being pinned on ongoing favouritism and the military's influence over the PCB, especially Field Marshal Asim Munir and his team. That's the situation as explained by Najam Sethi. This next bit of news comes from the United States, where there's a demand to bring Pakistan's defence budget under parliamentary or public scrutiny. The US Department of State has released its 2025 Fiscal Transparency Report, which emphasises that Pakistan should bring its military budget, that is, its defence budget, under the control of Parliament and into the domain of civilian oversight to ensure transparency and accountability. According to this report, until the budget is presented to Parliament, no one really knows how much money is being spent on what, and that leads to a lack of transparency. If you want to have accountability and transparency, the defence budget of Pakistan should be presented in Parliament. Now, obviously this report probably wouldn't have been released with the Pentagon's approval, because they have very good military-to-military relations with Pakistan, particularly with the Field Marshal. The US believes it's easier to deal with a single person, the military, because they can deliver whatever's needed without worrying about courts, Parliament or any consultations. However, the State Department has its own objectives, and this message from them is certainly alarming for the Pakistani leadership. It's not a good sign for them, honestly. Moving on to another domestic issue, the Pakistan People's Party, or PPP, is now raising objections over the recent Saudi Arabia Mutual Defence Agreement, claiming they were not consulted. The PPP is openly saying that the PMLN, the Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz, made such a huge decision without consulting them. When this news reached us, our job was to investigate it further. This news reached us yesterday, and now it is openly being discussed in Pakistan. PPP has stated that they were not informed about such an important agreement. Yesterday, a very respected person within PPP told me that this is a huge concern within the party. Many other analysts have also discussed it on TV. We have found out that this objection raised by PPP against PMLN is completely irresponsible. There is no basis to it. They are unnecessarily trying to make a storm in a teacup. The reason why this objection is wrong is that PPP is part of the government. They have the president and the governor, so before such a major agreement, why weren't they consulted? When we investigated with our sources, we found out that until just a few hours before the flight, the PMLN did not even know about this agreement. They were prepared to go to Saudi Arabia, but no one had informed them about the agreement. It was only a few hours before the flight that they were told they would receive good protocol and make great economic deals, but they had no clue about the defence agreement. Perhaps Shahbaz Sharif knew about it, or maybe the Field Marshal briefed him, as he is his aide, but this was not shared with anyone else. The fact remains that this was a big surprise for everyone in PMLN, including Nawaz Sharif. When Shahbaz Sharif arrived in Saudi Arabia, his reaction was that he looked genuinely surprised when Prince Mohammed bin Salman came to receive him. If you watch that footage again, you will see Shahbaz Sharif looked overwhelmed. He was not expecting all this. Even though he's often out of his wits, that day he was caught off guard. As for PPP's objection, in my opinion, there is no weight to it. They should think carefully about what they're objecting to, especially when they themselves didn't know about it. They need to discuss this with others. There is no judge, no lawyer, and no dignity left. To speak to a son in jail, a bribe of 5,000 rupees was taken. Listen carefully to this news. Every week, a bribe of 5,000 rupees was taken just to allow a mother to speak with her son in jail. The mother's son was ill and could not work due to his condition, which was why he had to pay this bribe. To keep him from hard labour, 5,000 rupees had to be paid every week. She mentioned that her total expenditure on this matter had reached 1.5 lakh rupees. She had even sold her goat to raise the money for her son's communication. This woman, poor as she is, sold her only asset, a goat, to speak to her son on the phone. Yet the authorities charged her repeatedly. This story is one among many, and it paints a grim picture of how the poor are exploited. Despite her constant struggles, the system keeps taking from her. This is the reality of our collective consciousness, and it is absolutely heartbreaking. The women lawyers at the Islamabad High Court have condemned the actions of the president of the Islamabad Bar, Wajid Gulani, for his despicable behaviour. Wajid Gulani, who is responsible for overseeing the High Court Bar, was reportedly involved in filing false furs against fellow lawyers. He staged a scenario where weapons such as daggers and swords were attributed to certain individuals, which is ludicrous, as if he were fighting against Tipu Sultan or Emperor Akbar in the Mughal era. The women lawyers have now collectively condemned him. It's the first time in history that a bar president has fallen so low as to file false cases against his own colleagues. Meanwhile, in London, workers from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, were protesting, while PMLN supporters had gathered as well. The situation became so intense that the police had to intervene. The matter escalated when PMLN accused a journalist of carrying a knife, claiming he intended to harm someone. The journalist was a reporter for a channel associated with Mohsin Naqvi. This incident shows the deepening rift between the media and political factions. The journalist was arrested, and after a search, no knife was found on him. The whole thing was fabricated, leading to a scuffle between journalists and a serious confrontation. The story highlights the political turmoil and the manipulation of the media. Some people, such as the PTI and PMLN supporters, are trying to deflect attention from the real issues that plague Pakistan. Even though there was supposed to be a press conference by the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in London, the government used distractions and political games to avoid real questions regarding the state of Pakistan. There are many more stories like these, showing the deep divisions and struggles facing Pakistan. These issues must be addressed with sincerity, and the public must be made aware of the truth, no matter how hard it is to digest. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.